Hey guys, White Guy here. Wanted to do this thing where I talk about like gaming news in general. I really like video games, been a hobby of mine for a long time, and I really care about where like the direction of the industry is going and all that. So I like to just pick out some topics that I like to talk about, uh, tell you guys my feelings on them, and that's really it. Just some classic gamer news. So the first thing I want to talk about is GOG's new return policy. This came out a couple days ago, and a lot of people have been reporting on it because it's a really nice return policy. I just want to give my thoughts on it. So the main overall gist of the policy here is that you can return a product after 30 days, even if it's downloaded, launched, and played. There doesn't seem to be any time limit listed here, but I'll go into like a reason why they would deny it here in a little bit. And as GOG has always been a consumer first type platform, you know, they're owned by CD Projekt Red, who's made Witcher, who, you know, CD Projekt Red is also very consumer friendly in themselves. So yeah, this is good for consumers. However, I think this might be bad for developers, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. I will say I'm not an expert on how developers receive funds, receive payment, or anything like that. But so 30 days, first off, means you have enough time to beat the game and return it. Definitely. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time nowadays to beat games. And especially like games on GOG are usually curated. They're usually longer. I won't say older style games, but a lot of them are. So maybe you won't have time to beat in 30 days, but you definitely have 30 days is enough to get a feel for the game, put a good, 10 or 20 hours into it. If you haven't beaten it by then, you kind of know if you like the game or not, and you can return it. So yeah, that will allow people to beat the game and return it. In a sense. I'll get into why that probably won't happen here in a little bit. Also, if you don't know, GOG has a no DRM marketplace, so none of their games have a DRM. And what this means is when you buy the game, you own it, which is different from pretty much any other game marketplace out there. So, in a sense, just giving you an example, like on Steam, probably the most popular game marketplace platform. Like if your Steam account gets banned, you lose all access to your games, stuff like that. But GOG, these games are yours. So what this means is, in a sense, people could buy it, pirate it, and then return it. I'm not saying that was already happening before this policy. I don't know if it was or not. I'm pretty sure it was. It probably was happening before this policy, but I guess it just gives more of an incentive. Like, let's say you really like a game and you really want to keep it. Why not just buy it off GOG, play it, return it, or you don't even have to play it. This is not even a problem. This DRM thing is not even a problem with the refund policy in itself. Now that I'm thinking about it. I think it might give pirators more leeway, though, if that makes sense. However, GOG has a good community. It's a really nice little small community. It's definitely not as big as anyone purchase, or it's definitely not as big as Steam. And you go to a game, you won't see like 1,000 reviews on it. You'll see maybe 100 if it's super popular and stuff like that. And the community is pretty small, and if you go to their subreddit, you'll see them praising GOG about this, saying, oh, we don't deserve this GOG, stuff like that, which, it's good to praise the developers who put a consumer first policy type thing. Now to get into where GOG kind of stops this madness of playing a game is right here. There's no limit, no limits, but instead we reserve the right to refuse refunds on individual cases. So There you go. I imagine if you put 35 hours into a game, you're not gonna get refunded. You could probably put some common sense to this little one line right here. Just, here you go. Please respect all the time and hard work put into making these games. And remember that refunds are not reviews. So, there you have it. They'll probably deny your refund if you played it for 10, 20, 30 hours. Overall, GOG, awesome refund policy. Very consumer first. We'll see how it plays out. And I know they're in a trial period. They're looking at it. They're seeing how this is going to affect their market space and how they pay developers, I imagine. So, I'm not a business guy, so that's all I have for that. Next up, Diablo 4 had their quarterly update for February 2020. There's some cool stuff in here. I'm not gonna lie. I have a love-hate relationship with Blizzard. Love is in the senses they were. I discovered Blizzard around 2012, I'll say. Right around, I played a little Cataclysm right before Pandaria came out for a while. And I played Diablo 3 as soon as it came out. And of course, that's about the time where everything started rolling downhill for Blizzard. I know a lot of people will argue it was even before that, but I was not around for that, so. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff in here. The problem with Diablo I have is, or I would say the problem with Blizzard is they make stuff sound really good. They make stuff sound really, really good. And the problem is they won't implement it, or they'll either not implement what they're talking about, or they'll fuck it up somehow. I'm not going to even use a Warcraft 3 as an example. Actually, no, I will. They made Warcraft 3 sound really cool. I never played it, and it looked really cool. And then it came out, and then, yeah. But I'm not in here to shit talk Blizzard. I want to talk about Diablo. So yeah, these are some item icon styles they're working on. I'll link everything I have here in the description, by the way. Some really cool stuff here. I think this artwork looks really neat. I think all this looks really cool. It's really different than Diablo 3. I never played Diablo 2 or Diablo 1. This is really different from Diablo 3. This is much more of a old style, gritty looking armor. Different than I'm almost like cartoony armor style sets, but very I guess maybe flamboyant is the word that Diablo 3 had in their set pieces. And just from looking at this, I'm just noticing now it looks like they do have set pieces. At least these green ones do. So if you're hoping for no set pieces, oh. I think they actually showed off set pieces in the video already. I'm not sure. Alright, so here they can even say, we've toned down the brightness and saturation for icon backgrounds. I guess that gets it like oh, this is the backgrounds, icon backgrounds. Okay. Oh, whoops. Here's their inventory screen they got. This is all work in progress, obviously. Nothing crazy here. I see nothing, a huge change up or anything. One change up is the health potion. You have a set amount of health potions. One thing I don't like they're doing with Diablo is taking away it's just attack and defense now. I know some people like that. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's necessarily a super bad change. I see it personally as a revert in the wrong direction. It's going from more complicated to less complicated. Not saying that the old system was complicated at all, but that's just how I see it. But I'm not going to get into that. Rebinding left click. So this thing pisses me off because a surprising number of players have asked the option to rebind their primary skill to anything but the left mouse button. Makes sense because you want to walk around and not attack. Okay. Adding more flexibility to our binding options has already been on our radar for a while. So this is good. Some of my problems with Blizzard, and I'm talking about Diablo, is that if people were requesting this feature, how hard is it to test it out and add it? You haven't done anything since Reaper of Souls anyways. It can't be too hard as a programmer to just, hey, why don't we just make a keybind for the left mouse button to move and just put that other thing to another attack. So, Path of Exile does this, except when you rebind your left click to move, it takes up a ability slot. It doesn't like separate it. So I don't know. I guess there's something wrong with ARPGs that you just can't have left click and another ability. It's impossible. But the fact, at least Path of Exile has a workaround. Diablo does not. I don't know. This shit just pissed me off. I have to wait a whole other game to get left mouse button movement flexibility. This is kind of the thing that pisses me off. Left corner action bar. This is a little change up from PC. I believe this is how it is on console. I'm not sure if they say it in here. Here we go. We're going to move the default position to the action bar back to the bottom center for PC players. So I don't know exactly. Looks like they have two different options here that you can choose from. Yeah, optional UI is always good in my opinion. I don't think there's anything wrong you can do with optional. I hate when UI is locked in and you can't change it at all. I think anything you give gamers like the optional thing to do is good usually. This just goes into eye tracking. It shows you like what's the most natural place to look when you're looking for health, stuff like that. Yeah, viewing angles here. So it's good stuff. Overall, this is good. This quarterly update stuff is good. The problem is that it's Blizzard doing it. So it's like, how much can you really say? Okay, cool. You know, you're saying a lot of words, but can you back it up? But they definitely should keep doing these quarterly updates. I like them. They're good. Nothing wrong with them. Keep the communication open. You know, you don't have to tell us everything you're doing. There's marketing and strategy behind like not telling us everything. But this is good. This is different from what I know of Blizzard at least. Yep, I'll link this in the description. You can go through it if you want. Alright, next up, Baldur's Gate 3, made by Larian Studios, who made the game Divinity Original Sin 2 a couple years ago. That really took over the the world by storm. Really quick popularity out of a studio that had games, but definitely was not as popular as they were before Divinity Original Sin 2. If you didn't know, they landed the I guess contract to make Baldur's Gate 3, which I tried playing Baldur's Gate 2. Too old for me, so can't do it. But I'm a fan of Larian Gate Studios, however you say their name. I can't remember. Is it listed in here? No. Larian Studios. Yeah, so you can skip. I'll show some gameplay. I have the sound muted, but it looks so good. It's kind of got more of a third-person perspective. I don't know if this is just a camera angle. Like, at least adjusting the camera angle there. It looks so good. It looks so good. So far, I saw a report of 1.5 million words recorded and motion captured. I don't know how true that is, but it was a report. Game looks beautiful. Looks very... If you've ever played Baldur's Gate 2 or seen it, this is a lot different. This is very much Divinity Original Sin 2-esque. You can see your massive ability bar down here. Just nothing too out of the norm from what we saw in Divinity Original Sin 2. Really cool stuff. Very excited to see what they have in store. I don't believe there's a release date yet. But definitely something to keep on your radar. Something to add to your wish list on Steam. Oh, I think it's coming out on GOG as well. In case you're a GOG only type of person. Alright, last up on my list is Black Desert is 100% free to keep till March 2nd. I still don't know if I would recommend anyone to play this. I bought this game when it first came to the US, and it was really cool. The developers said they're not going to add any pay-to-win microtransactions because it was buy to play. And then, well, you know how that went. This whole game is pay-to-win. A lot of player base will tell you just pay for convenience, but it takes $100 or so to even get to a, like, I won't say a playable state, but to a state where it's not a chore to play. It takes about $100, and I've heard reports of if you want to get to like Node Wars and extreme late game and stuff like that, it's going to cost you probably around anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000, depending on how competitive you want to be. That's US dollars, by the way. So if you want to pad your Steam library, go for it. Add it to your account. No reason not to. Don't play it. Give it a try. The problem with Black Desert, it's a beautiful looking game. And they even remastered it for some reason. That's a whole other topic. It's a beautiful looking game. It's probably the best combat any MMO has ever had. The problem is that it's grindy and it's pay to win. Basically, people play it for a character editor. Make really cool characters and then post on the subreddit, and that's it. So it's got very positive reviews recent. I'm kind of curious as to why. Here are all the classes, and they also have like prestige style classes. Or I don't know if it's a class. You just get like a prestige style weapon that completely changes up like your combos and stuff like that. I'm not gonna get into why it's very positive because I don't know why it's that. It's been mixed for a while. So, anyways, yeah, Black Desert's free. Pad your Steam library. Play it. Don't play it. You probably, if you play it, you won't be playing it for long unless you're bored and have hundreds of thousands of dollars to just spend. So that's all I have for my little gamer news section, and thanks for watching.